Everyone. Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Vijay Bhandari, Associate Professor in CSE Department. So today's topic is software engineering concepts. So before starting the lecture, I will tell you about the history of the software engineering. So it is introduced in year of 1960s, and there are many authors have given their own definitions. So the concepts of software engineering emerged in the late of 1960s with the recognitions that computer programming languages required a disciplined approach similar to that of traditional engineering. So during this period, you can see there is many figures comes like Dijkstra, Brooks algorithms, and other algorithms has come into the scenario, and that is played a crucial role in shaping the field. So most of the challenges and becomes in that scenario and how it is resolved, right? So it as the field of software engineering began to take a shape, it becomes clear that a more systematic and structured approach was needed to ensure the successful development of complex software systems. So you can understand how the software engineering comes into existence. So most of the generally the software engineers, what they do, they employ the code reviews, testings, and continuous integration to achieve the highest quality. And these practices help identify and fix defects early in the development process, reducing the bugs and improving the overall software quality. So over the years, we can see the software engineering has evolved and adopted to the changing needs of the industries. Also, you can see the new methodologies and various methods have introduced in software engineering and also included some frameworks that addresses the software development challenges in an increasingly complex and interconnected world. So the agile development is majorly focused in this modern era. For example, like it emphasizes the flexibility and collaborations, allowing team to quickly respond to changing requirements and delivering softwares in shorter iterations. So we can see the programming languages parallelly the introducing and emerging into this field. So programming languages like, for example, Fortran, COBOL, and other ABC languages was introducing in this era. So these languages provided a higher level of abstractions and made a programming more accessible to a broader audience, right? So the impact of the languages that that we can say that we thankful to enhance the software engineering concepts like OOPS concepts, right? So now let's come to the software engineering concepts. So we can see the, as I already told you, there are many authors comes into the SEI, and SEI has introduced in definition in own way. So many authors have given their own principles, their own methods, methodologies, and definitions. So the applications of a systematic, disciplined, quantifiable approach to the development, operations, and maintenance of software. So it is a process that involves understanding the needs of the users, designing the softwares, coding the software, testing the software, and deploying the software. So generally, the it requires the many phases, right? So in the next slides, we will see many phases. The software development life cycle is introduced in 1960s and introduced by SEI, Software Engineering Institutes. So SDLC is a framework that defines the stages and that is involved in software development. So different phases of the SDLC can vary depending on the specific methodology being used. So, but they typically include, right? So first is requirement gathering. Second is system design. Third is development. Fourth is testing. Fifth is deployment. And sixth is maintenance. So for in first, we will see the requirement gathering. So we have to do some analysis first, and analysis phase, we find the problems in the real examples, right? And real scenario. And after finding the problems and analysis, requirement the we fulfill the requirement of gatherings, right? Gathering the requirements. So how do we gathering the requirements, right? How we design the systems and the development after set testing, deployment, maintenance in next slide. We will see in the broad way. So I have to clear this. So in next slide, we will see here. So the SDLC provides a structured approach to software development, and that helps to ensure that projects are completed on time and within the budget also, and to meet the needs of the users. So the specific phases of SDLC may vary depending on the size and complexity of the projects, but they all play an important role in the software development process. So how do we figure out these kind of the things here? We can see the time, budget, and meet the needs of the users as per the guidelines, right? And depending on the size, complexity of the project. So we will be take caring of these things before development part, right? Now in next slide, we will see the requirement gathering. So how do we gather the requirements, right? So the process of collecting informations from the stakeholders to understand what the software needs to. So here we can collect the informations from the stakeholders, right? What is the who will be the stakeholders? Stakeholders may be producer, consumers, right? To understand what the software needs to do and what is the focus, what is the goals, objectives of the software, right? So the process of collecting informations from the stakeholders, right, to understand what software needs to do. It is the first process. Second process is this phase is critical to the process of software projects. It ensures that the software is built to meet the needs of the users. So what the conclusion of this slide, like to meets the software is built to meet the needs of the user. So as per the user requirement, if we build the software as per the requirements and deliver into the time period and given the timelines, so customer gets happy, right? It customer makes happy, and if a customer makes happy, so you will be getting another project from the client or company. So it is the basic and first way of the gathering the requirements. Now we will see in next slide. Requirement is the can just I have already told you, like it is the first phase of the SDLC and the stakeholders and timelines, surveys, right? Goal of the requirements. Okay. Now, system design. So the process of creating a blueprint for the software and the system design should be based on the requirement that were gathered in the previous phase. So we have to design a blueprint. It may be a hard copy. It may be in any spaces, in any workspaces, right? Where we can show the flow of the workflow of the project, right? So it will be a system design that is based on the requirements that is gathering in the previous phases, like in first slides. Now we will see a next phase. Development phases. So development phase is the process of writing the code for the software. This phase is where the software engineers take the system design turns into writing the code. So we can just what we can see, like where we can see the Python, C, C++, Java, .NET. There are many languages you can use there for the development, right? So where you can write the code. So you have to learn the different various languages as per the scenario. Okay. So is that clear to everyone? Okay. So these are the main phases that we analyze the things, we develop the things, develop the codes, right? And after writing the codes in different languages, we deploying the codes into platforms like we can use the AWS server, GCP, and Azure. So different platforms are there where you can deploy the codes, right? After this, I conclude my lecture in this software engineering concept. So we have seen in this lecture, there is a history. We started from the history and in 1960s, how it is introduced, and many authors are giving their own way and how it very important for the software engineer. And now we start from the analysis phase, requirement gathering, development with the phase, right? And how we deploying these things. And the last phase is testing and maintenance. So we will look up the matter on next video. Okay, so first you have to learn about the how we analyze the requirements, how we analyze the problems, and how we develop the codes, right? And one of the very important topic, agile methodology, you can see in my third lecture video, right? So if you have any doubts, you can comment in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you so much.